Okay, so it appears I'm live now. Hello, this is Sarika. Welcome to the Naoya Healing Room. This is what it's going to be. um, I'm doing this all much more casually than I usually do, which is a good thing for me because I usually try to get more serious in all of this stuff, and it never works out. So I'm just going to do what I do, which is talk to you guys and take you through some simple techniques and things. And I'm going to do this pretty often. And it goes with my own personal practice and being able to give service to others is that if I can share what of my personal practice is shareable, then I'm also doing service to others while I'm just continuing to do my own personal work. That's the way I look at it, and it's a balance, but yeah, I think that that'll work out very well. So that's what I'm doing. So I really want to emphasize the fact that I'm starting over. A lot of people, come to me for advice or whatever, and I may have some insight or I may have an idea of what's going on or whatever, but I'm not an expert. I'm not a master in anybody's mind, I don't think, especially not my own. I haven't had any formal Taoist training in that I haven't gone to work or study with anyone, you know. And so what I found is that I'm quite lacking in what I consider to be foundational exercises. I can get to certain places, I can experience certain things, I can, indulge in certain psychic or energetic abilities or channeling or whatever you want to call it. But I didn't spend enough time, in my own opinion, doing the simple things, the things at the beginning that really make your practice come alive. So that's what these are about, not just me doing this stuff again, but showing you what you should be doing for yourself. And this is a good kind of stuff, at least right now. I mean, I'll do other programs later that will serve you in anything that you do, in any practice that you're in any type of energy work, in any type of meditation, all of that good stuff. Okay. So again, if I'm not an expert, why should I be teaching you this stuff? I think the way I look at it is we're always, and we always have been, learning together. And if I have a little bit of insight into these foundational practices, and if I can get anyone to start practicing them, to start paying attention to these things, the things at the beginning that are the practices that we don't like to do because they're not very exciting and we don't feel much, and so we move on to the next one because we think that, okay, I've done that stupid beginning one enough, I'm good, and then we go to the next one and we do something else. When you've reached a certain level of attainment and you go back and you do those foundational exercises again, sometimes it's like you're doing them for the first time, and they become less boring the more mental clutter and stuff you clear out of your head. And that silence and that strong energy where everything is flowing in a continual circuit, and everything is good, the mental energy is pooling in your head and falling down and soothing your body, that you're getting sleepy, and then you pay attention, and then the energy way down in your lower chakras moves up your spine, and you wake up again, you have all of these interesting experiences and stuff like that. And if you don't really, I think, get into the nitty gritty of relaxing and breath work and opening up and all that kind of stuff, then it's not really going to happen as well. So all of this, whether you're just doing this for your particular practice or for qigong or for tai chi or whatever, it's going to be helpful in all of those regards. Of course, I'm Sarka, and so there will be light language and stuff, activations, blessings, and all of that in these events as well. And there probably will be some that I'll do that are just focusing on that. There'll be some that I'll do that are just focusing on talking or lecturing or giving information. And there'll probably be some that are just focusing on the singing bowls because it's something that I do now and it's something that I love and regularly participate in, and they're amazing and can bring lots of healing. As far as personal sessions, I wanted to let you guys know that I'm still available for personal sessions, and we will work like this. Okay? So I can broadcast, I can do a live event with you guys. I probably have the computer power now so that I can set it up and talk to you over here, record what we're doing. That way you can have the session recorded and listen to it. and see it and all that kind of stuff. And I've been recording these things on my broadcasting software, and YouTube saves them. They don't have to be public, so that I can make an event like this, and it'll be just the two of us, and we'll do the stuff, do the things, and then you get to watch it later, so that you have all of that information. And of course, for pricing, just contact me personally, sadhaka@neona.com, or newaeonawakening@gmail.com is probably the one that I'm using more now. They both connect to each other, but sometimes Sadhaka is full. So yeah. So try newaeonawakening@gmail.com. It's the name of my YouTube channel at Gmail. Pretty easy, all spelled out and everything. Don't have to worry about Neona. So that's what this stuff is. I also wanted to just, briefly inform you, and obviously I should be doing updates and this kind of stuff all the time, but I did want to inform you guys that I'm going to have a singing bowl album out soon. So please look out for that. I'm going to do the best I possibly can. I do not own a recording studio. It's going to be pretty raw. It's not going to be very mixed, obviously, because of the setup that I have over here. I'm able to do a lot more interesting things musically than some people are doing on their singing bowl albums. And a lot of the sustained stuff is punctuated by bells and interesting sounds and little crystal structures and things. So I want you guys to be aware of that. I'm trying to produce that, and it will be an MP3 CD collection, or if you're crazy about sound and you want the WAV files, I can do that too. But it'll probably be an MP3 collection, all around the same length, about 5 to 7 minutes or so, and several tracks. And each album, I'm going to do more, of course. I haven't really decided on which one to work on first, but each album is going to be a healing experience. So you can listen to each of the individual tracks if you want to, and randomize them. It's not going to be like, oh, you have to listen to them in an order and pay attention or something like that. It would be great to put on and just listen to the entire thing and just like do your meditations or do your energy work or whatever it is. Or if you want to, you can focus on the healing experience that that song or that track is supposed to be bringing forth. And it's so that in that sense, it's going to be almost interactive, because I want you to listen to these and use them. I don't want you to just put it on the background. But by all means, if that's what you're doing, if you're doing massage or healing work or whatever, put it on in the background. I don't care. It's an album. It's great music, and it should be used in all ways. So those are going to be available, and so what will happen is you'll get like the album artwork, which I'm going to ask a friend to produce if she's willing to do that for me. It'll have like the album artwork, it'll have the track listings, of course, it'll have all of the songs individually, and this will be like a zip package, I guess, I don't know. And it will have explanations of the bowls that I'm using, explanations of bowls in general, because there's some interesting things that I want to tell you guys about when it comes to the sound and frequency and all that good stuff. And maybe a little blurb on each of the tracks and what it's supposed to do and why and blah blah blah. Okay, so it should be an interesting and interactive experience, and I want people to look at that and wait for that and really devour that kind of stuff, because I think it's going to be good. Okay, yes, that is it. So without further ado, we can get going. And I know it's further ado. I'm just an idiot. Okay, so yesterday we did an exercise called removing the mask, more or less. I just took you through some very simple relaxation exercises, and what I want you to do with all of these videos and all of these programs is to go through them in order. So this is part one of, what did I call it? Laying the foundation. But the one before that, removing the mask, is good, and I think you guys should go through that too. So, as always, stand up straight, or sit up straight, sorry, and straighten that spine, all the good stuff. Get everything loosened up. And what we're going to do today are a bit more of the same preparatory exercises. I'm not going to do as much explanation, we'll just get right to it. So close your eyes and start to relax. Move yourself around so that you get into a good position. And again, try to straighten that spine as though we're going straight out the top of your head. And find your position. You can spend a lot of time doing this kind of stuff, just exploring your range of motion and exploring what is relaxing and what is not. Because the point in all of this stuff is to be completely supported and completely keeping yourself upright and completely relaxed at the same time. How is that possible, you know? Well, it is. At least to keep the certain muscles and things in alignment, your spine in alignment, and to relax everything to a point where you can really feel that energy flowing up and down your spine and all of that. So that's what we're going to do. So get in alignment if you can and start relaxing. Once again, your point of awareness is relaxation. So if I concentrate on my nose, I have to know I'm intending this. This is for these exercises. That as soon as I focus on that area, it completely relaxes. It's not enough, though, to just know that and then focus on the area. So I'm going to focus on my nose and completely relax everything inside. It's really interesting to allow your breath to come in and allow your breath to come out as gently as possible, but to still notice how many little muscular contractions you make just when you're breathing in. It's really disturbing, okay? The point in all of this is to have everything functioning so smoothly that it's just like silk. And nothing is really moving, nothing is changing, there's no tension, all of that kind of stuff. So it's difficult for me to do all of this at the same time. Obviously, what I want you guys to do is focus on the top of your head. Again, focus on your skull, focus on the hair follicles, focus on the feeling that you get at the very edge of your skin. And as your awareness focuses on that area, absolutely everything in that area completely relaxes. Now let's do the removing the mask exercise. And take the tips of your fingers and ever so gently, barely even touching, just skimming the surface of your skin, allow absolutely everything on the surface of your face to drop off. And what I mean by everything is all the tensions. Sometimes we carry things in our structures that are further out in our field than we even realize. And so sometimes the tension is almost like it's out here, you know? And so by simply becoming aware of the very surface of where your skin is, where your face actually is, it causes a shift in your awareness because you're like, oh yes, this is my face. And as you do this, smiling is fine, but you should try to relax as completely as possible. So these are just like tiny little spider webs or threads of silk being run across your face. And as you do this, you allow everything to relax. You can apply this to other areas like your neck and just be as slow and gentle as possible, okay? But mostly, and even the chest too. This is very important to do. And the tactile sensation against your skin actually does cause a shift in awareness, and I want you guys to know that. So I want you to spend a little bit of time with this exercise. Do it several times. Shake your hands out in between, maybe move a little bit around. Allow your gaze, if you're keeping your eyes open, to relax so you're not like, all tensed out or whatever. Just allow yourself to be that way. Allow yourself to breathe, of course. I will take you guys through some breathing exercises eventually. So if you can, make all of those alignments. Make sure you're sitting up straight. Focus on the very top of your skull and allow your awareness to be aware of the actual feeling of what you're focusing on. What does your scalp feel like? The very pinnacle of it right here, the apex of your skull. What does that feel like? And then try to notice that all throughout this very small region of your head, there is tension. Unless you happen to be some amazingly relaxed person, there's going to be tension in the places you least expect it. There's tension here, and there's tension here, and there's tension all the way around here. And I need you to gently focus on those areas, and as you become aware of those areas, they completely relax. So allow your scalp to completely relax. Allow your temples to relax. Spend a little time on the surface of your ears, from your earlobe to the tip and all the way to the inner ear. Become aware of those areas. Become aware of the tensions within, and know that as you become aware of them, they begin to melt, begin to relax. Make sure you're sitting up straight. Get that spine nice and straight, and loosen it up a little bit. And then I want you to breathe all the way from your toes down as deeply as you possibly can. And just sigh it out completely. Now I want you to go through the removing the mask exercise. Try to keep your eyes gently open and don't allow your gaze to be fixated on anything in particular, but just allow yourself to completely relax into everything that's around you. And imagine, if you want to, that as you do this, you are actually stripping away a layer of your own face that no longer is you. And every time you do this, you can put your hands in a slightly different position and just allow them to, very, very gently follow the curvature of your face as you move down. Um, Allow deeper and deeper layers to open up. And again, I'm not massaging myself like this, That can be great too, and I often do. But what we're trying to do is become very aware of the very subtle sensation of just moving this down and allowing that light touch to completely relax the facial muscles. And again, straight, because when we do this, you can have a tendency to, feel back and all that kind of stuff. Straight up and down. That's what we're doing. So I want you to focus on the removing the mask exercise for a little while. If you want to, you can focus it down here as well and bring it down here. I like to loosen up the chest that way, but that's about as far as I go. Again, when you relax the face, you relax the entire body, so that's all I'm trying to focus on right now. Would you go ahead and continue that exercise for a little while I play the bowls, and if I feel the need to interject, I shall. Okay. So, I just want to make it very clear that in any preparatory exercises, you're going to find your mind starting to wander. And this is one of those things, again, where you're like, oh, I'd rather be doing something else. It was probably a breath of fresh air when the bowls came on, because to a certain extent, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to think about anything. You just listen to these amazing sounds and they wash over you and they relax you and all that, which is part of the reason that I'm so into them right now. But then you might find yourself simply just drifting. What was I doing again? Oh, yes, I'm doing this exercise and I'm allowing things to relax. I'm going deep into these tissues and really focusing on them and using my awareness to relax them. You do know how to use your awareness to relax things. You become aware of the shoulder and relax it, and it'll dip down. You know, it's a practice that you need to engage in. Now, when you find your mind continually wandering back and forth, this is the ultimate meditator's problem. Everyone has this problem. Don't think that, oh God, there's just something wrong with me. Oh God, I need to do this. Oh God, I need to do that. Oh God, I need somebody to tell me the secret, so that they can figure out why their mind is so crazy all the time and what they're doing wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. That's how everyone is all the time, always. Okay, you just have to get past it. And how do you get past it? You just keep doing it. All right. So every time that you find yourself thinking about anything else or feeling about anything else, you don't even have to tell yourself, ah, dang it, I'm supposed to be meditating, focus on this now. It's all in your head, it's all there, it's all internal space. Just immediately shift your focus back over to whatever it was doing. If you forget what it was you were doing, then just breathe, let it all go, let yourself remember, and start over again. You know, it's continually training your mind to focus on what you want it to focus on. Don't beat yourself up. Everyone loses focus. Everyone. Okay? That's what we're constantly trying to train in all types of meditation, is how to maintain that focus. In certain types of Buddhist meditation or jhana meditation, you would call it, I think they call it access concentration. It's the very, very first step when you're learning how to meditate. You focus on one thing, and you learn how to focus on that thing to the exclusion of all other things. So everything else falls away. Yes, you can see the curtain in front of you. Yes, you still have sensory input. I can hear the fan in the background, whatever. Um, but you learn to focus on something well enough that other things drop away and that you don't continually have all of these crazy random thoughts interfering. All right, that's a very difficult thing to do, even just to that. It's the first step, but it's still very difficult to do in whatever system you're using. Okay, so it is an important thing to do, and all you're doing is continually training your mind. Imagine your mind as a puppy, and you have to keep it on a leash and pull it back over here. Wait a minute, pay attention to this. There it goes. Wait a minute, pay attention to this. Wait a minute, pay attention to this. If you do it enough, and if you allow that puppy to have the treats that you have hidden in your pockets, which come after, a good deal of meditative focus and a good deal of practice leading to actual skill in these crazy things, which are all internal and in our heads, uh, it'll be so worth it that your puppy is going to want to continue to come back to that place because it knows it's going to get the good stuff, right? So it is worth it. When you first really get there and you're just focusing on one thing, it is kind of like you're swimming in this like different sea, like a different world. Like everything is just all of a sudden slower, and you realize all these weird experiences that people try to describe or that they try to get us to know in the movies, where they slow everything down and you're just like looking at space like this and you're wondering like, wow, does that really exist, or are these people on drugs? Of course they really exist. It's all mental space and it's all how you perceive things. If you can let all that other stuff drop away, it really isn't coming from inside of you. It's coming from crazy places. But your awareness is just awareness. It's not thinking all of these random thoughts. These just bits of information, that don't even matter. And yes, random things internal too. But anyway, okay, I've talked enough about that. So I just wanted to emphasize that, because while I was playing, I was like, I know the people are going to be like relaxing to these bowls, and then they're gonna forget what we were doing. So again, using our awareness, very, very minuscule. And if you want to, you can use different amounts of pressure to see what you're doing and what you're not doing. Or don't even touch yourself at all, but try to feel your fingers as they're moving. try to feel the heat signature, try to feel the chi coming off of them, you know. That's always a great thing to do as well. Now, once we've relaxed ourselves, then what do we want to do? I'm not going to take you through any formal training because I don't have anything. I don't have the credentials to do that. I have personal experience, so all I really want to have you guys focus on are the three Dantian. You have the lower Dantian, the middle Dantian, so lower belly, middle, and upper, right? And they're very nondescript in a way. They're actually there, and yet I find them almost to be like the space in between the more obvious chakras. You know what I mean? So they're not chakras; they're pools of energy. I don't find chakras to be pools of energy. They're just like wheels turning in their little, you know, junction points or whatever. But these are spaces, like balls of energy almost, okay? So the lower Dantian, middle Dantian, I don't need to go through all the theory or whatever. I just want you guys to focus on three very important areas of the body. And without getting into all the crazy nitty gritty of what each Dantian does and how it functions, or focusing on one of 7 chakras all the way up the body, I think it's much easier and it's much more effective, honestly, to simply become aware of energy and channel energy into the lower dantian, become aware of and channel energy into the middle dantian, become aware of and channel energy into the upper dantian. And then as you do this, you start to become aware of what those centers represent. You should pay attention to the different feelings that you're experiencing when you're focusing on those areas. And this is almost an advanced idea, excuse me, but not really. Uh, the whole of the work can be divided into the three, right? And this almost applies to any spiritual philosophy or framework or yeah, any philosophy or anything like that. It can be divided into the three: the lower, the middle, and the upper, right? And so that's all you really need to know about this. You're talking about the lower physical, denser energy, a higher middle energy, and a much, much higher spiritual energy. Okay, it's not that really difficult to get to grasp. But what is difficult to grasp is that Jing, or the lower energy, is really responsible for a lot of functions of the body. A lot of organs are involved in it, and you know, marrow and blood and all of that. You know, Chinese medical stuff, which may be a little more esoteric. You know, but for right now, you can just have the idea that, like, behind the navel, big ball of energy, lower dantian. Behind the heart, big ball of energy, middle dantian. Inside the head, around the pineal gland, center of the brain, whatever, right here, upper dantian, pool of energy. And you'll start to notice that they're different. They're very different, and you'll start to notice that the energy within, they're like factories. Okay, so energy comes up from your legs and through the you know, Wei Yin point, which is like the what do you call it? The perineum. And there's that sexy energy down there, and it's very yin, and it's very difficult to move up to the lower dantian, which is your first real main factory. So once you learn how to do that, you're essentially interrupting the natural process, because typically, while Jing rises and gets into your body through the lower extremities and all of that, it's typically just dispersed or ejaculated for the male, or used in sex for the woman, male or woman, same thing. Um, and then as you learn to channel this energy, it becomes easier and easier and easier to move within your system, and you start to direct that Jing up towards the lower dantian. This is kind of advanced stuff, I guess, but this is what I'm going through right now, so I'm just letting you know. Up towards the lower dantian, and then it sort of interrupts that natural process of expelling the sexual energy for the male, or recirculating it in a different way for the woman. And those conversion processes start to take place much, 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 much faster. So the whole of the work, as what I was saying before, divided up into these three things. rejuvenation, so allowing yourself to soak up more energy from the external and from the outside environment, and doing things internally to allow everything to be open enough to do so. If you don't practice and if you don't do Qigong and Neigong and blah 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 and all these things and really open up your energetic system, then you're not going to be able to rejuvenate and get that extra energy from the external environment or from what I would call primordial sources. That's why people can't tap into finer energies unless they really, really get initiated by someone special, or if they go through enough work to be able to sense those energies and work with them. Sense those energies and work with them. Feel the feelings and then manipulate them. That's what we're always trying to do. So, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on those, and that's all. So we're going to start with the lower dantian. Again, belly, navel, and behind it about that far. So back from the navel. There are saying things that say the lower dantian is 3 kun, which is about 3 finger lengths or 2.5 finger lengths or something below the navel. And usually in medical texts, what they mean is below the navel if you are lying down on a bed, which is how you would be treated. So below the navel means behind the navel or back into the physical body, as opposed to down below the section of the belly button. Below the section of the belly button is a confusing point just right there, like 2 fingers below it, called chi hai. And chi hai is sometimes confused with or cognate with, I think in some systems, like in acupuncture, cognate with the lower dantian. But that's not really the case. The lower dantian is way back there and is a conversion center and is this big, ball of energy that turns and does these amazing things. And pretty much anything that you want to put in there, as long as it's active enough and it's really started that conversion process that is the level above the normal functioning of a human being, and you really decide to work with those conversion processes, you can feed it any type of energy and it will convert it for you and do something useful with it. That's why it's so important to have these centers constantly galvanized, constantly working with them, constantly rejuvenating. Okay, so rejuvenating, getting more primordial jing, or whatever you want to call it, into the body, all of this, ambient chi, sucking it all up so that you can rejuvenate and have all this extra stuff to work with. Then the conversion processes have to take place so that you're moving that natural jing and the extra jing that you are gathering from this rejuvenation process and allowing your body to convert it into chi. And then I find that there's this middle space around the solar plexus when Jing is being converted to Qi. It's called the yellow court. And it just kind of like goes there and it becomes this new type of Qi, and it's really vibrant and beautiful and golden, and it'll start to cool there for a while before it starts to move into the heart space, which is the middle dantian. The middle dantian, when it starts to fill with Qi, you can start to feel very like openly emotional because it's all of that space, and you want to like connect with everyone and you want to feel that, and it's very refreshing and beautiful, whereas the stuff is more like you're feeling all this energy and it's moving and it's kind of sexy and it's great. All right, and then just be aware that anytime you're working with the middle dantian or this heart space, very often energy is going to start pooling out in dual fashion. I find that it's like right here a lot. And so a lot of time the exercises will be to open, 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 gathering, gathering, gathering more chi, and then allowing it to slowly come back together, coalescing towards the center. Because if you like push that energy into the heart space, you're gonna have some difficulties breathing probably, because the heart absorbs energy extremely slowly. It's very strange, and sometimes you feel like, oh my god, I feel that it's like empty, and it's like still, it's like sucking in this energy. It's like, when does this space end? Like, it never seems to end, and I don't think it does, honestly. I probably have to explore that heart space a little more myself, but like it's this duality, but it's sort of like the infinity symbol, and it's just coming inside of you, coming into your chest like this, and pooling in the center of your chest, and then that yeah, it just never seems to end. Okay, so that's all you need to know. And then the top one, I can find different ways to describe it. It's the lightest, brightest, most intelligent energy, Shen, when you're working with that space. When this stuff comes, you feel like everything you've been doing with other energies was like crap. I know that's a terrible thing to say, but like you start to feel like, why am I not working with all with Shen all the time? Because it's so obvious and it moves things so strongly and it's really great. So that's also a level you might not start to feel that kind of stuff until you've reached a certain level of energetic uh, evolution, or ascension, whatever you want to call it. So now I just want to take us through some simple exercises. I'm going to try to change this audio feed while I'm streaming. So I'm going to watch the, excuse me, I'm going to watch the stream. I haven't tried this yet, so change it. It says, whoa, it says it's picking it up. So I'm going to try it. This is the recording mic. I hope you can hear me. And this is for being able to talk over here by the bowls and so that you can hear the bowls better. So basically, all we're going to principles while you focus on 3 different areas of the body. Okay, so the first one, lower dantian. You're just going to focus like this, and you're going to come out from the center of that area. So like my hands, this is my belly button. Just come out from that center and feel about where you want to stop. There's going to be an area. Okay, the lower dantian is all the way in here, but it's going to emanate, it's going to have layers, okay, and eventually it'll get bigger and bigger and all that kind of stuff. So you're going to start out here somewhere. Then just feel and continue to concentrate on the internal sensation. As you do that, you're going to start to feel energy moving around here, moving around here. Your hands might start to move a little bit back and forth. Just allow it to be very natural. Listen to the sounds that I'm going to do. And again, just concentrate on the lower dantian, okay? You want to smile. That can open some pathways up and allow some spiritual yang energy to come through, all right? So, again, just take your hands. You can do this, you know, if you want to like really focus on that energy and push energy towards them. This is a very powerful thing to do. But just gently, you can be like this and feel that area, okay? And we're going to do the same thing with this one. And this one might open up a lot more and feel like this and go all crazy, and then come back as gently as possible. Again, don't push that energy. And then this one, we're just going to start like this around the sides of the head, and we're going to go up and out, and then we're going to come back down in, okay? So that's all up to you. And every time that you're doing one of these exercises, I'm going to pause and say, okay, let's move on to the middle one. I'm going to pause and say, let's move on to the middle one. And then I'll just keep playing. But you have to focus. And again, focus on the lower dantian, focus on the middle dantian, focus on the upper dantian, and allow the energy to move your hands in or out as it sees fit, and just allow yourself to be natural with that, and just feel what's going on. And again, focusing here, or focusing here, or focus down here, depending on which one you're doing. Very simple. Okay. This is a very sensitive microphone, so I'm going to assume that it picked all that up. If not, I'm sure I will be hearing about it. Okay, so lower dantian. Focus, focus, focus. Okay, so I'm sorry about that one part. I kept talking when I was going to start playing, and I didn't realize that the mic was switched, so I hope you could still hear me. And please let me know if you watched this whole thing, obviously, how that worked out. I hope you're able to follow along. I know that sometimes the bowls can just be very relaxing and we forget what we're doing. That's fine, just let yourself go. But you know, try to follow along with these exercises or take them and try them out yourself by yourself if you want to. Again, I'm going to be doing these things a lot, and you can check out my Instagram if you want shorter videos just for little refreshers and like the new bowls that I'm getting and different things like that. Or if you want to contact me, again, you can use newaeonawakening@gmail.com. And Instagram is sadhaka_nahanik. You'll see that info in the info on this video. And if you want personal sessions, this is basically how they're done. Everything that you see me use here and do here is stuff that I can do with personal people, with a one-on-one with people. And I guess you'll just be getting all my updates if you're watching these things, and it's been pretty cool and pretty easy. And I'm not gonna like, set out any prescribed, patterns or like events or whatever. I'm just gonna let it happen naturally, so that you can pick up easy and good things whenever you watch these. So you can jump around, but again, I would prefer that you watch them mostly in order. And again, if you want to work more, just contact me directly. Okay, I will talk to you guys.